But imagine, sometimes it's feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at it on Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you. Provide funding. Yes, sister, provide funding. Plus training to run your business profitably. Yo, go online now to start living the St. Lucian dream. Just one click and boom, you're in business.
Bon après-midi, Setli C. Good afternoon, St. Lucia, and welcome to another edition of Youth Unplugged here on Radio Caribbean International, where we spotlight young, talented minds shaping our culture and the future, whether in sports, academics, the arts, business, or beyond. Today, nous n'y avons invité Jessie Mayers. She is a St. Lucian fiction writer and scholar whose work celebrates our Caribbean roots while pushing creative boundaries. Her play, A Little Folktale, was showcased at Carifesta 2019, and her short story, Red Eye Cat, has just been shortlisted for the Commonwealth Short Story Prize for 2025. Jessie holds a degree in literature, creative writing, and film studies from the UWI, that's the University of the West Indies, and is currently doing postgraduate research on Caribbean magic systems and Obia in West Indian literature. Jessie, welcome to Youth Unplugged.
Hi.
Hi, right. And for those who may not know you well, tell us a little about your background. Where in St. Lucia are you from and the schools that you attended?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jessie. I grew up in Groseley. I went to Dame Paulette.
Groseley Village?
No.
Oh.
Bonte.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. Bonte Groseley, and I went to Dame Paulette, and then I went to Leon Hess, and then after I went to the South Louis Community College. Okay. And then after I went to UE Mona in Jamaica.
Your focus at Sir Arthur was literature among them?
I did literature, sociology, and law.
Oh yeah, law was available for you
yes.
young'uns at some point.
Yes.
All right, that's great. Now, we'll get straight into it. You've worn many creative hats: a fiction writer, playwright, scholar. I like that scholar part. Take us back to the beginning and what first inspired you to write stories?
Well, before I started writing, I was an avid reader. My mom made sure of that. At first, I hated reading. And my mom would bribe me. So every book I read, she'd say, okay, if you read this book, I'll give you $5. And then I was just like reading books, and then I was getting into it. And then after she realized, okay, the $5, I have to up that. So every time I read a book, then she'd buy me a fish. And then, so I had this full aquarium, and because I was reading so many books, and then I'd have like a whole bunch of fish, and then my mom was like, okay, you don't really need bribes. So I was just an avid reader from the age of 6, and I've been reading from since then. And my joy, my knack for writing was, I found out that I could write when I went to Hess. And it was during English class, and my English teacher, Miss Popo, was a great teacher, and because of her, I am a writer today, basically. Yes.
You and I started off on somewhat similar paths. I was reading from probably 2 to 3,
nice.
But love it. I love reading, an avid reader, but I hate writing. And I can do it well, but I just hate it. It just takes too much from you sometimes.
Yeah, it can. It's really difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Speaking of which, how do you deal with writer's block, though? On a side note.
For me, for writer's block, well, it's I have a love-hate relationship with writing, and I've like brainwashed myself to believe that there's no such thing as writer's block. So every time I do find myself stuck, I'm like, okay, there's a reason why this isn't working. And it's usually not where I am right now in the story. It was like probably 5-7 sentences back where I wrote myself into a wall. So I'd have to like go back
and reevaluate
and try to reshape where the story goes, because so that's how I navigate writer's block. I just brainwashed myself to believe it's not there.
All right, that is good. All right, so your play, A Little Folktale, was showcased at Carifest in 2019.
Yes.
What was that experience like representing St. Lucia on such a big cultural stage? And tell us about A Little Folktale.
I was really humbled. Well, I co-wrote the play with my friend Monique Ogis. We wrote it at Sir Arthur, and then first we put it on as a school play. And then the year after, it was chosen to go to Carifesta. And we were really happy. We were really humbled. We did not expect it to reach that far. We were like, yeah, it was great. Our play was beautiful. We put it on ourselves. And then CDF decided that they wanted to take it further and bring it to like the regional level, which was an amazing thing. Like, I'm very thankful for that experience to this day.
Okay, kudos to CDF for nurturing and, of course, exposing our young talent. And how old are you, Jessie?
I'm 25 now.
25. Oh, you're still a baby. So you're still under that banner of youth, unlike quite a lot of us. All right. So, and Red Eye Cat, it got shortlisted for the Commonwealth shots. First, wait, hold on. You didn't tell us about A Little Folktale.
Oh,
I forgot that part.
Yes. So, A Little Folktale is a play, and it was a way for Monique and I to try to figure out the origin stories for folklore characters. So we focused on the Laja Bless, the Sukuyo, Tiboloms, Kokma, and then the infamous Gaji, the Gade. So we were like, how would these folklore characters come about? What would prompt beings like that to exist? And A Little Folktale was just how a group of 5 children coming together after their uncle's funeral, and then they go into his room and then they find this book, and as they're reading the book, that's how the book tells the origin stories of each folklore character that we look at in the play.
And your interest in that. In fact, we'll probably get to that part later.
Okay.
Because it's pretty interesting at such a relatively tender age that you would have an interest in those mythical characters, and you would not find that much among that demographic, that age group. But we shall get to that.
Okay.
Red Eye Cat, it was shortlisted for the Commonwealth Short Story Prize, as we mentioned earlier. Congratulations.
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
And can you tell us the story behind the story and what inspired it, and what does it mean to you to be recognized on that level?
Well, what inspired Red Eye Cat, I cannot divulge my sources. I have to protect the people who shared certain aspects of their story with me. But what prompted Red Eye Cat was just one sentence that someone told me. It was just like this brilliant sentence, and I was like, damn, wow, this is a story. I need to bring this to life because this is amazing. This needs to be more than just a sentence, and we're moving on with the conversation. So Red Eye Cat came out of that, and then came out of my curiosity to explore like how children at times don't really have control of their environment, and how being a child and being just a human being, because sometimes people forget children are humans. So it's like, how does a child navigate being in a family where they don't really have space to be comfortable and be themselves and to feel safe? So that's just the gist of what Red Eye Cat is. And it kind of personal too. But I guess that's where you bring yourself to the writing as well. But it's not me per se, but it's just certain feelings that I have felt as a former child,
Former child. And some might still say it at 25 you still are. But I'm just listening to you speak also. I would say kudos to you, because there's a certain level of maturity with which you speak and the way you articulate everything. I could never tell that I'm speaking to someone so young. So kudos to you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so your work, it often blends folklore, magical realism, and historical elements. Why do you think it's important to keep Caribbean folklore alive in modern literature?
Because to me, our folklore figures and the stories that we've woven over the years, to me, I feel like those stories are our mythology. So you know how there's Greek mythology and Roman mythology and all of that, African mythology. Here in the Caribbean, a lot of the times that we think there's a disconnect and we don't really have those things, those archetypes that other cultures would have. But we do. And we have those things, but the only way that they can evolve and how we can maintain their relevance to our social context is if we continue to tell those stories and to add on, because culture is only as alive as how much effort that people put into it, you know. So that's how I see it. Our folklore is our mythology, and a lot of the times people think mythology is fake and stuff, but at the same time,
it makes sense.
It is. It's like it forms a large part of the basis of our identity.
Down to our language, you know, certain things we use. That quite agreed. Okay, folks, it is now 3:14 p.m. We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, the Youth Economy Agency, who are the proud sponsors of Youth Unplugged, where they take your hobbies, your dreams, and turn them into a viable business. We'll be right back.
But imagine, sometimes it's feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at that Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you. Provide funding. Yes, sister. Provide funding. Plus training to run your business profitably. Yo, go online now to start living the St. Lucian dream. Just one click and boom, you're in business.
Alright, and we're back with Youth Unplugged with me, Miguel Fevrier, and my guest for today, playwright, scholar, writer, Miss Jessie Mayers. And we have some shout outs here on our Facebook platform. Ronaldo Ashby, our mother and son duo right there. Ronaldo Ashby says, Jessie, with an exclamation mark. Big up yourself. And Hathor Nubian Princess, aka Della Ashby, says, big up yourself. And there is my cousin right here on the live. I think she must have taught you at Hess, Miss Annie Compton. She says, hello, Jessie. Good stuff.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you, Annie. Thanks for tuning in. I figure she probably taught you at Leon Hess. Miss Compton, Lucy Compton?
No.
Oh, well, she knows you very well. Hello, Jessie. Good
Hi.
stuff. All right. Okay, so fine. We're getting back into the questions for you, Jessie. You're currently researching Caribbean magic systems and Obia, in West Indian literature. How does that academic work influence your creative writing?
Well, it's actually my creative writing that influenced my academic work, because
You chose to do that.
Yes. The only way I want to do a dissertation, I would love to get a PhD. And I thought like the only way that I would do it is if it was something fun and something that is magical and something that's a little taboo and interesting. So that's why I decided to go and look at magic in West Indian literature.
Speaking of taboo, interestingly, within the past few months, weeks, on the political scene, you've seen the debate raged about the use of the bolom and the obi on our political platforms and everything. But to get to my main point, as when these things do come up, you find one side speaking about, frowning upon it, saying, within the context of our political debate, you find they bring up things like obia as like you just mentioned earlier, it's mythology for us and everything. But there's a very negative connotation to the term black magic. It's in itself already denotes some sort of negativity. Obia, whatever terms are used for whatever craft and practice and arts that are occult things that were practiced by both us, our ancestors, and people into current day. Where do you stand on that debate as someone who apparently studies and writes about it?
Well, right now in my research, what I'm finding is the reason why there's so much of a stigma attached to Obia, and particularly any religion that has strong African retention practices, there's a lot of stigma because of how colonialism has impacted the law in, especially in the English-speaking Caribbean. So what I found in my research was there was the first time that Obia was outlawed in the Caribbean was in Jamaica during Taki's rebellion. And the reason why it was outlawed was because it empowered black people to rise up against the system and to take back their freedom and to live a life in the way that they wanted to outside of slavery, because slavery was terrible. So because of that and what I found in my research, even after that and the laws that came in, the laws that they implemented again and again and again during slavery, during the post-emancipation period and into the independence period, where it was like those laws were maintained because of colonialism and because of this also whitewashing of black culture, and also how everyone, well, not everyone, but the colonial system frowned upon anything that was African, and anything that was African and any practices that were African were considered inferior. So that is why there's a lot of disdain for Obia to this day, because of how Christianity was pushed onto the enslaved Africans in the Caribbean and their descendants after that. So for me, I think that like anything can be used for good and bad. The same Christianity that a lot of people think that is great, people use it for bad as well. So why is it that something that is closer to our roots is frowned upon, but like we're embracing Christianity as if it's something that is native to us when it was not
by the Europeans?
Exactly.
That said, so of course a lot of focus on these religions is on the negative aspect of it. And I think it's important that we do delve into these religions, the practices, the importance, what they signified for our ancestors, for the very reason that the focus throughout the centuries, throughout the years, and like you so rightly said, it's been whitewashed, to think that it's all bad.
Yeah.
But going deeper into the reasons, the beliefs behind the practice of those religions, I think we'd come to the realization that it's just like any other religion walking the face of the earth.
Well,
So,
in a way, it's not really a religion.
Well,
it's more of a practice.
a practice, yeah.
And I don't even want it to be a religion, because I feel like there's so many connotations that come into play when you try to classify something as a religion.
Spiritual part of it and the Christ and the
because
deities.
it's more of a practice as well as a philosophy. Based on the research that I have done so far. And a lot of it, when you use like African retentive practices, it's a lot to do for good, for healing, for spiritual enrichment, for your progression as a person, as an individual, rather than just a focus on a being that is outside of yourself that you're hoping will change things. But it kind of gives you the empowerment to work towards something for yourself as well, and to protect the people and help the people around you.
Wonderful. That was great. Now we have two more before we get into the rapid fire round. We're quickly approaching that 3:30 mark. Many young writers struggle with confidence and finding their voice. What advice do you have for young St. Lucians who want to tell stories rooted in their culture?
Write whatever you feel that you should write. Get that first draft out and make it as best as you can, and then find someone who you trust who would read it back and will give you like constructive criticism to make sure that it's good, or like just ensure that whatever you're writing is the best that it can be. Because as a writer, sometimes I feel very alone, but what I realize is that something can only be good and unless you create it. It has to exist first. So do it, and then find your community, find people who you know who will give you constructive criticism, but not coddle you and tell you, well, yeah, this is great, when it's not really the best. And just do it. Right.
That said, influences, local influences, whether it be people around you, writers, and those who play an important part in your journey so far.
So for me, Hazel Simmons McDonald, Derek Walcott, Jamaica Kincaid, Kai Miller, who else? Jean Reese, and one of my favorite novels is Tamora Pierce. I mean, my favorite writer is Tamora Pierce. She really got me into fantasy and fiction and all of that. Yes.
All right. Okay, final question in this round. Where do you see Caribbean literature going in the next decade? Do you think global audiences are finally ready to embrace our stories in a big way? I mean, we do have the not one-offs, but the people like Naipaul, Walker, and we've had quite a few in the Caribbean, but we don't seem, even among our own, don't seem to have that kind of prominence. So it may be part of one of those hindrances to us not celebrating our own, not achieving that international status. So what do you think about that? What do you see Caribbean writing in the coming decades?
I feel like Caribbean writers, there are a few who are making it big now, like Marlon James, for instance. He's a Caribbean writer, and he writes fantasy. And then we have Kai Miller as well. And we have Diana Macaulay, who just won a literary prize the other day. So I feel like there is space for Caribbean voices. People do love our writing. They've been loving it for years, and I feel like it's hot and popular now to like Caribbean writers.
Just like African.
Exactly. But I think what I would love to see happen is for more Caribbean people to read, because I don't think a lot of Caribbean people read now. We need more readers. Yes.
Now, you see the running joke has always been, fairly or unfairly, that you want, they say St. Lucian, they often interchange. You say a black people, say St. Lucian Caribbean person, to not know something is to put it in a book. I don't quite believe that. I think we have many scholars and avid readers among us, but I think, that said, what role do you think the internet has played much of or the most crucial role in the decline of people's wanting to read the books?
In a way, yes, because a lot of people in my generation now, Gen Z and the generation after me, Gen Alpha, our attention span is so short now.
Created though. That attention span was created. It wasn't something that it is just like natural human physiology.
Yeah. It was created because of social media, the scrolling. We get like interesting, like funny clips, like few seconds. It cannot be more than 1 minute. So like now getting people to read is a bit difficult, but it's important. People have to read. And for you to grow as a society, you need people who are educated and people who read widely and people who are able to take in different perspectives and to think critically about things. Because if you have a population and people just take things at face value, then you could just give them anything and then they will just accept it as it is. Yeah.
All right, so we've finally reached our rapid fire round, and it's fine because we started about 3 minutes late, so we have just about 5 minutes left. First question: favorite Caribbean author?
Kai Miller. Jamaica Kincaid.
Okay.
Kai Miller, Jamaica Kincaid. Sorry, I can't pick one.
That's fine. That is wonderful. A book you think everyone should read at least once?
That's difficult because everybody has different tastes. At the Bottom of the River by Jamaica Kincaid.
I think I read that book.
Yeah, it's a collection of short stories.
Yeah, I think I read that. I think I did. Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
As in stay up until...
As soon as the sun goes down, I'm alert. And as soon as it comes up, I go to sleep.
Alrighty. One St. Lucian phrase or proverb or saying or that you like, that you love.
Eh.
Why not? Why not? No, that's a good one. That actually, it's stubby, but it really is a good one. All right. And if you weren't writing, what would you be doing?
Sleeping.
Sleeping? That's, I take it to your night also during the day.
Reading, I guess, if I wasn't writing.
If you weren't writing, yeah. Alright, let me just check in some more comments before we get to the end of the show. Yeah, Annie says you were a student there, but she didn't teach you. Leston Celestin says nice work, Jessie.
Hi, Lestan.
It's Lestan, okay.
Yeah.
Deroy Destang says keep up the good work, and Ronaldo says night owls unite.
Yes.
I think for me that just depends on what day it is or what my activities throughout the day were like.
You're versatile.
Yep. Coffee, tea, or cocoa tea?
Cocoa tea.
Cocoa tea?
Yes.
Where
Love cocoa tea.
Where do you stand on coffee?
Coffee is nice. I don't have to have it every day. It
Alright.
doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
I could drink coffee and then go to sleep.
Okay. Now my final question. We've done the rapid fire round. My final question is basically was to give our sponsors a plug, the Youth Economy Agency, and as you know, that's their whole aim, their whole function is to turn your hobbies, your skills, assist you in turning that into a business, and that not only involves the provision of loans and grants at grants and loans at concessionary rates, but there's also the training aspect, associated marketing and finance and all these things. I do have a list of a bit of their clients who are guests on Youth Unplugged, and I've seen writers and publishing houses in there. The arts actually features very prominently among those. I just wanted to know what you think of initiatives such as this, for especially aimed at young people as yourself.
I'm fully in support of initiatives like this. Anything to help young people progress, I'm in support of that.
Okay. And anything else you'd like to add as we close up?
Please read. Read a lot. Read widely. Read everything.
All right. And are you looking at publishing, further publishing as within the coming months, years? Anything, any projects working on right now?
Yes, I'm actually working on a project, but it's not a book or a short story. It's actually a film.
Oh, wow.
So, yes.
Wow, that's a big jump in a short space of time.
Yes, so we will be shooting in August, and hopefully the film will be out in September.
At Caribbean Cinemas, I hope.
Well, I don't know. It's a short film, so I don't even know where we will showcase. I guess if they allow us to showcase it at Caribbean Cinemas, please allow us. We'd love to show our short film there.
Oh, sure, why not? Well, Jessie, thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights with us. We're proud. I personally am proud to see a young St. Lucian talent making waves regionally and internationally, because we're talking about Commonwealth. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more great conversations on Youth Unplugged, where the voices of tomorrow are heard today. And reminding you that I am here this Sunday from 3 p.m. for Golden Grooves, your trip down memory lane. I have 2 amazing themes planned out for you, so you people who love the 80s, make sure you find yourself there. And I'll be there next Wednesday for Letla and Thursday for Youth Unplugged as normal. Until then, this is Miguel Fevrier alongside my very special, talented guest, Miss Jessie Mayers, saying goodbye. Before I say that, Ronaldo says no, the A is identifiable internationally for true. A lot of my solutions that travel forget that's not a real word. And he says cocoa tea is the only right answer there. I disagree. I'm a coffee guy. But until then, folks, saying goodbye. Jessie, tell everyone goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Sure. It was nice having you, and we'll see you guys. I will see you on Sunday. So for now, I'm signing out and reminding you that Youth Unplugged is brought to you by the Youth Economy Agency, turning those hobbies and skills into a viable business.
But imagine, sometimes it feels like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday.